match 3 to take on Mike Scroggins. Time now for the introductions of match number 1, and we begin with the reigning Player of the Year, Wes Malott.
A 6-time winner on the PBA Tour, the reigning PBA Player of the Year and undisputed King of Bowling from Pflugerville, Texas. Please welcome Wes Malott.
Wes, not only the reigning Player of the Year, also the reigning winner of this tournament. He won the Atomic Marathon Open last season when it was held in Indianapolis. Beat Ronnie Russell, 248-195 for that title. An opening strike for the Big Nasty.
A 2-time member of Team USA, he won the Viper Championship last season, a former PBA Tour Rookie of the Year from Lockport, New York. Please welcome Brad Angelo.
So Brad, his first television appearance this season. This will be the best finish to date for him, his 8th top 20 finish, his 4th top 10 of the season. Won't drop it.
And would bode well for Brad and really helping out a dismal year.
We asked him yesterday.
Said it best in the Open when you touched on endurance and versatility, because let's face it, you bowled 53 games in 5 days over 7 different oil patterns. You better have endurance and versatility. But it certainly doesn't hurt to get some breaks as well.
He's telling us how tough it is on him to be here today on Easter, a very important day for he and his family, and clearly his thoughts of his daughters and his wife on his mind right now. So back-to-back spares for Brad Angelo. Time.
There was a bigger dispersion between averages on the Dick Weber. He felt like he had more of an advantage on the Dick Weber. Eddie campaign for 09 and 2010. Wes Malott still looking for that first title.
And he whiffs on the 10.
Come on, Wesley.
Interesting, telling us yesterday that the one tournament he didn't bowl this season was the Dick Weber Open on this oil pattern. He was back home for the birth of his daughter Riley, the second girl in the Angelo family. How about that? Back-to-back jacks for Brad. Wes gets back on the strike train in the 4th, and Wes dedicating this week's tournament to an old friend of his, Lionel Jordan. Another strike for the nasty Jordan. Angelo, bottom of the 5th, looking for a 3-bagger, the lead at 2 in match number 1.
And interesting that he told us yesterday the reason why he bowled so well this week is he felt like it was much easier for him to get his ball through the front part of the lane than it has been the rest of the season.
So he felt like there was more oil up front. Angelo on top by 1. The Big Nasty set to close out the 6th, looking for a 3-bagger.
Yeah, and the reason why he's trailing is he flagged a 10-pin in the 3rd. Otherwise, he'd be leading by 11.
Is to open up the 7th off of a spare in the 6th.
Much better.
You like that one, and for good reason. to PBA.com. Click on the one-a-day logo to submit your question. We begin the 8th. Angelo. Up 2 and leaves the 10.
Pattern. Chris Barnes, obviously, arguably one of the best, if not the best player out here. Pete Weber.
So Malott down 1. Here's his effort in the 8th off of a strike. Right of target and a tough lead for him. Again,
Good day for it.
Uh-oh. His open frame for Wes in the 3rd and the 8th. Here he is in the 9th.
Just looked really fast and really firm. You know what's scary, though, about Wes Malott is he makes telecasts when he's not bowling well. And when he is bowling well, I don't think there's a player on tour that creates as much room and strikes as much as Wes Malott.
It'll be an interesting season next year for sure. Strike number 4 in match number 1 for Angelo. And I find it interesting whenever I watch him bowl. You almost look when he's approaching, the hand is on top of the ball. It's like the palm is facing down, and then he makes that adjustment. You made a point earlier this season. Whatever you're comfortable with on your approach, straighten it out at the end.
Are you kidding me? Getting back to his hand on top of the ball, primarily uses that for his spare shot.
Right.
And it's something that he just has found that works for him. And
he didn't really show it there. We saw last week as well in Long Island. Needs 6 for the win.
He showed you the hand thing right there.
Shows the hand, blows up the rack, moves on to match number 2. Final frame as reigning player of the year. And what are your thoughts on the Big Nasty season?
Well, I think Wes is going to go home and regroup, and he's going to go home and regroup. He's going to figure out what he needs to change or work on in his physical games. He's had a taste of the good life, Rob.
Stepladder has been updated, and he will take on Brad Angelo, your 4 seed here in match number 2. Angelo winning over the Big Nasty, Wes Malott, 207-192. Chris adding a late ball to the rack. Angelo will start us off here in match number 2. The winner of this one to take on PDW. Pete Weber, your number 2 seed.
He is a 12-time winner on the PBA Tour, including 2 majors. A member of Team USA, former PBA Rookie and Player of the Year from Double Oak, Texas. Please welcome Chris Barnes.
We talked last match about the challenging season that Wes Malott had. Ditto really for Chris Barnes. 3 times a runner-up this season, 0 victories. The messenger sails in front of the 10.
On the Dick Weber oil pattern, that's probably the best we've seen him physically throw it all year.
He told us it's the best he's felt since last year's U.S. Open. So Barnes goes spare strike. Strike for Angelo. As Barnes steps up, bottom of the screen, you can see other finishers. Walter Ray Williams Jr. finishing 6th yesterday. Right through the nose was Barnes.
Chris Barnes, a notorious heavy hand, heavy rolling end over end guy. And so there's the mistake that you're going to see from Barnes.
Barnes on the left lane right now where he struck in the 2nd. With a ham bone.
You didn't.
Sure did.
Please tell me you didn't.
Angelo up 18, trying to take care of the 6-10. And misses the 10. Let's see how Angelo responds to that open frame as we begin the 5th of match number 2. The winner to take on 2 seed Pete Weber. Third time today he's left that 4-pin. Barnes on that right lane, which has been problematic for him so far. 9 spare, 6 spare. And gets a strike there in the 5th.
And take my chances.
Talks live on air to you. Handled it so well with Zysic's family as well. Just a good showing by both men. Here's
Yes,
Angelo,
sir.
bottom of the 6th.
No chance.
No chance what?
Well, no chance to hit the right side of the head pin, but
A strike's a strike, baby!
yeah, and you know what? You're bowling a guy like Chris Barnes, man. You
need
throw
those.
a Brooklyn at him, and then you raise your arms. You know that all that does is it's like throwing gasoline on a fire. All you're going to do is really irritate Chris Barnes.
Come on, you really think that irritates Barnes?
Oh, trust me.
All right. I think he's got other issues on his mind right now, to be honest with you. And we'll talk about that in a second, what he was doing during the commercial break. Angelo looking for strike number 5. And gets it.
Hey, parlays a nice break right there, but you know, Rob, you talked about it. Chris Barnes on his last shot on the left lane came very close to fouling. Watch this. Boy, and that's about as close as you can get without having the red light go on. So what does he do? He changes soul and heel. This is the first shot that he's going to throw with a brand new combination. Remember, he got no practice shots when we were at break.
When's the last time you saw somebody do that?
I can't remember. I've seen, obviously, the players take the shoe brush there and kind of rough up the nap of the sole, but I've never seen them change sole and heel in the middle of a game. Obviously, this Barnes guy knows what he's doing.
Well, Chris, we just showed video of you making the shoe adjustment. What was the problem, and what did you solve?
What's that?
We just showed video of you making the shoe adjustment. What was the problem?
The approaches are just slicker today. It's about 15 degrees hotter, maybe 20 degrees hotter on the set, and the approaches have a little bit of humidity in the air. It's not there now, and so I just need a heel that stopped a little quicker.
And how did it work out for you? I know you got a strike, but I mean, did it feel good for you?
Yeah, so far so good. I didn't go Brooklyn. I guess it was all right.
Got to bring up the Brooklyn. Thanks, bud. You're right.
You
I know,
questioned
Randy.
me?
I know.
I can't believe you would question me.
I'm smarter than that. You're right.
Told you.
Here's Barnes in the 8th, looking for a pair.
And let me just... That's the PBA protocol, my friend.
All right. You know me. I'm all about taunting.
Now, just so you know, Brad didn't mean anything by it. He wasn't trying to rub it in his face. It was none of that.
Three strikes in a row for Angelo.
That wasn't a Brooklyn shot there.
Now. Boy, did I not just say that Brad's not afraid to mix it up?
The Italian coming out in Angelo. I like it. Little Italian stallion.
We got us a little game now.
Yeah. And it's not just a game on the lanes. It's a game between the ears as well.
I think the words were, that one ain't Brooklyn.
That was a hail bone, Angelo. And he is talking smack to Barnes. Takes a seat, does Angelo. And what does Chris have in store for him in the 9th? Barnes working on a pair as well.
Hey, can you blame him? Guy just got called out for his Brooklyn, and now he's giving it right back. You know, good for him. Now, Brad Angelo can strike out and shoot 256. The best Chris Barnes can do if he strikes out, 249.
Let's see what Barnes has in store here, bottom of the ninth. No words exchanged. You know something's brewing inside of Barnes.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's just going to get up now and try to stuff 3 in the 10th and go, hey, try to match that. No Brooklyns, that doesn't count. He'll say something to try to get into Brad's dome. Also, he needs to keep the pressure on. A mark here. Brad Angelo will just need a mark in the 10th frame. And Brad will move on to take on PDW, Pete Weber. Tighter and tighter and tighter down the lane for Chris Barnes. And then when it's all said and done, we can go back to being friends again.
7 strikes in match number 2 for Angelo, including 4 in the last 4 frames. Trying to drop a nickel here in the 10th. Big Yahtzee dropped by Angelo. The frustrations continue this season for Barnes. Angelo will move on with another strike. That was a live shot of Pete Weber, who's just about 10 feet away from Angelo right now, as Angelo throws his last one here in match number 2. Concludes with 7 strikes to close out this match. A feisty one, eventually won by Angelo, 256, 227. We update the stepladder. Brad Angelo set to take on Pete Weber here in our semifinal. The winner to take on number 1 seed Mike Scroggins. Again, Mike Scroggins, with a win today, will earn Player of the Year honors for the first time in his career.
And if Brad wants to continue the theme of the trash talking, he's got the right opponent.
Angelo will start this one off as the lower seed. He'll be on the left lane. And another opening strike for Angelo. That's
his 34 PBA Tour victories ties him for 3rd on the all-time list. His 8 major wins include 4 U.S. Open victories. From St. Louis, Missouri, please welcome Pete Weber.
And Robin, in terms of ball reaction, Pete Weber can get really, really close to what Brad Angelo is doing, because Pete can throw it slow and he can really create a lot of axis rotation. Look for Pete Weber's ball reaction to be very similar to what Brad Angelo is doing.
Back-to-back opening jacks for PDW. Had a 207 versus Malott, only 5 strikes there. Had 10 strikes in the last game en route to a 256. And he opens up with a pair of strikes here in our semi. Last match, some verbal shots between Angelo and Barnes. Seemed to really focus Angelo. Misses the 7. Hey, Brad, what did the verbal conversation you had with Chris Barnes last game do for your game?
Well, I think anytime somebody tries to play any mental games with me, definitely is motivating, because that O in the last letter of my name doesn't allow me to take anything, being Italian.
He said it, not me. Here's Pete Weber. Perfect through 2. Bottom of the 3rd effort.
I'm just going to go out there and bowl. And interestingly enough, on the stick Weber oil pattern, the last game, he shot 300.
Just didn't want to make the turn.
I feel good. I'm bowling well. My mental game is sharp. And this game does look really good right now.
And he misses the 10-pin. Wonderful jinx.
That's unusual.
We'll see what that does mentally for Pete's game. He can use motivation in a lot of different ways. Not all of them positive. Angelo in the fourth. A little heavy there.
Boy, that ball looked like it made two moves going down the lane, because as soon as it saw friction, man, it checked early and then checked again. Once it got to the back part of the lane, went through the nose, only leaving the 3-6. The spare here will be tied up through 4.
Angelo had a 300 game this week on the Cheetah oil pattern, also a 299 on the Cheetah. Takes care of the 10, which
he's going to rise to the top, and I agree with him.
his last title, March 4th, 2007 at the US Open. Back on the strike train is PDW. If he does not win, the honor goes to 50-year-old Walter Ray Williams Jr., who just missed the telecast, finishing 6th. But here is Angelo and Weber in the 6th, in the semis. Big pickup for Angelo. Great look at that one coming into the living room. 3 frames on that right lane. Here he is on the left. And that's just his 3rd strike here.
It always tells me that Pete Weber did not grab it at all at the bottom of the swing.
Looking for a 3-bagger here in the 8th.
Come on, boy! Yeah,
Gets it!
right, come on!
And has another one here. Frames 6, 7, and 8. Angelo just 3 strikes total, but 1 in the 7th. He's down 23. And on the right lane, which has been tough for him. Gets the late kick. The 10 was wobbling, and a messenger just rolled by it.
He just gave you one! That's awesome! Awesome, baby! Hellbone!
We begin the 10th.
224. The best Brett Angelo can shoot is 223. PDW is back. He finally wins a game on television.
So in an effort to speed things up, Angelo throws there in the 10th. Here's Pete Weber to close out his match. Takes care of 7 pins and walks away with the win. His next step goes to the title match. Weber to take on Mike Scroggins in the final event of this PBA season. Mike Scroggins with the win will be your PBA Player of the Year. We begin our title match. Pete Weber seeking tour title number 35 versus Mike Scroggins. Weber opens up with the strike.
He is an 8-time winner on the PBA Tour, including major wins at the 2005 USBC Masters and the 09 US Open. From Amarillo, Texas, please welcome Mike Scroggins.
And Rob, I spoke with Mike about an hour and about 2 hours ago, I said, how did you sleep last night? He said, honestly, I got about 2 hours of sleep. I couldn't sleep at all. I tossed and turned. I thought about every different scenario. He goes, can't you tell by the bags under my eyes, Randy?
Scroggy leaves the 7-pin on his first effort. 5 finalists. That's why he picked it as the #1 seed. He gets to pick what oil pattern he wants to bowl in.
Hey, spare.
Takes care of the spare. He won the 2008 Dick Weber Open on first strike of the title match for Scroggins. But he has to get through PDW first. Scroggins, bottom of the 3rd. Off a strike. The 3-5-6. Well played by Scroggins. The Kelly's was really special. I agree with you. Scroggins.
What about Rob? Where's Rob's, Pete? There it is.
Unreal. This is good stuff. PDW at his finest.
Yahtzee!
Take that
A double chop from PDW and his wife, Tracy. Mike Scroggins, just 1 strike through 4. Here's his effort in the 5th. Needs to get something going. Gets the late 10 to drop. Go back to live coverage. Scroggins working off a strike. Begin the 6th. Back-to-back jacks for Scroggins.
Two on this Dick Weber oil pattern, one by Pete Weber, one by Jeff Carter.
Back on the strike train is PDW. And that's coming from Pete Weber. Scroggins gets the strike in the 7th. Weber, your 2 seed, on top by 20. Scroggins looking for Player of the Year honors, trying to get 4 in a row here in the 8th. He is a bad man today. Scroggins looking for 5 in a row to remain alive here in the 9th. And leaves double wood. Title number 35 to Pete Weber, denying Mike Scroggins the Player of the Year honor. Congratulations, Walter Ray Williams Jr. Was sweet. Yes, he had 4 in a row, 5 through 8, but just never really seemed to get it going, and a lot of that courtesy of Pete Weber.
To try to make it interesting, then Pete steps up and throws 3 more strikes right behind the 5-bagger 9 spare.
Spare for Scroggins. One of the real good guys in the sport, Mike Scroggins. Unassuming, calm, quiet, just a real decent person to be around. And he had that smile yesterday with the opportunity. But he doesn't get Player of the Year. It goes to Walter A. Williams Jr. as Pete Weber, with the victory, gets Walter A. Williams Jr. yet another Player of the Year honor. Weber in the 10th. Yeah, another one.
Storm is #1. Thank you.
you, Storm. You're number one.
The Weber win will give Walter Ray Williams Jr. his 7th Player of the Year honor. And that breaks a tie with the legendary Earl Anthony for most PBA Player of the Year awards. Walter Ray Williams Jr. in 86, 93, 96, 97, 98, 03, and here in 09-10 is your Player of the Year. But today, Pete Weber gets his first title since March of 07. His 35th career title. Denying Scroggins Player of the Year. But getting a very emotional win. One he told us would feel like his first win ever on the tour. It's been a while since we've seen the old PDW. He was alive and well today.
Congratulations. It's been a while. Tell us, describe the feeling, what it's like to be back in the winner's circle.
Randy, you have no idea. It feels like I just won my first title. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. I got tears coming out my eyes, you know. It's just, you know, I've had that monkey on my back, and for those of you that thought I was never going to win again, take that.
Does it make it that much more special that you won on the oil pattern named after your father?
Well, of course, Randy, it always means much more when your dad has some sort of affiliation to the tournament, whether it be the tournament pattern or the namesake. But this tournament's been great. I love the long formats. Thanks, Baltimore. I love it here. Thank you very much. And I just can't say enough. Wow. Too bad it's the end of the year and the tournaments are done now, because I was just getting ready to go.
Congratulations, Pete. Enjoy this win.
Thanks, Randy. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Another title for Pete Weber, another Player of the Year honor for Walter Ray Williams Jr. 2 winners today. That man
First one in 3 years.
and the legendary Walter Ray Williams Jr. Weber, tour title number 35. We'll be back to wrap it up from Baltimore after this.
Bye, Satonic. Thank you, too.